Welcome to the Enchanted Lighthouse, where every week magical stories and new adventures await. Join our group of 7 wonderful animal friends as they bring tales about friendship, mystery, and wonder to life. From unexpected guests to heartfelt conversations under the moonlit sky, each story holds a gentle truth. We are so glad that you are here. Now let us begin. Hazel and Milo's journey to the lighthouse. High above the forest floor in a canopy woven with golden light, Hazel the red squirrel zipped between branches one last time. Her paws knew every knot in the bark, every sway of the highest twigs. But today, she wasn't climbing for play. She was saying goodbye. Her parents stood by the great oak hollow, and her 3 younger siblings crowded around her. Hazel hugged each one, promising to send word of her adventures. "You will climb higher than any of us ever have," her mother whispered. "And build things no one has ever seen," her father added with a proud smile. Hazel tucked her little backpack over her shoulders, filled with bits of wood, a few acorns, and tools she had made herself. She was ready to see more than treetops. She was ready to embark on a new journey. Milo's farewell. Far away in the snowy mountains of Silver Pine Highlands, a young Arctic fox named Milo was also saying his goodbyes. His home was a place where winters were long and glistening, and the wind carried stories through the valleys as old as the mountains themselves. As he gathered a few belongings, his white fur caught the early light and his azure blue bandana fluttered in the breeze. "You will make everyone laugh," his brother Kai said, pulling him into a hug. "I will probably make them roll their eyes too," Milo replied with a grin. 3 days earlier, Milo had found an old, worn map from his ancestors among his family's keepsakes. A map marked with a small mystical symbol labeled Aurora's Watch. He did not know exactly why, but the name had sparked his curiosity. Mischief and adventure danced in his heart, and he wanted to see where the trail into the unknown might lead. With a final glance at the silver-tipped peaks, Milo set out, eager to discover what awaited him at the edge of the map. The first meeting. Hazel was making her way along a winding forest trail, soft moss and wildflowers brushing her ankles. Sunbeams filtered down through the trees in shimmering ribbons, and she took in the earthy scent of pine and damp leaves as she walked. She had just adjusted the straps of her backpack when a sudden rustling in the canopy above made her freeze. Before she could react, a fluffy white bundle came tumbling down through the branches, landing in front of her with a surprisingly graceful spin. "Ta-da!" Milo announced with a bow. "I call that my surprise entrance." Hazel raised an eyebrow. "You nearly made me drop my acorn stash." "Better than dropping your whole backpack," Milo quipped. "Where are you off to?" Hazel explained her plan to travel, see the world, and use her crafting skills wherever they were needed. Milo shared his own story about the mysterious name on his map. "Sounds like we are both wandering without knowing what we will find," Hazel said. "Perfect," Milo grinned. "That means we can be lost together." The road ahead. By evening, they arrived at a part of the forest where fireflies lit the grass in gold. Hazel unpacked her tools and made a small lantern from twigs and thread. Milo stretched out beside her, paws crossed behind his head, spinning stories about what Aurora's watch might be. A treasure vault? A giant observatory? Or even a hidden gathering place where animals of every kind shared their stories. He leaned back on his elbows and watched the stars appear above the pine trees. They did not know how many rivers they would cross, or how many days it would take to reach the sea. But in the warm glow of the handmade lantern, Hazel and Milo realized they had already discovered something valuable, a travel companion who could turn any path into an adventure. A test of two travelers. The next morning their cheerful energy was put to the test. Hazel woke up early and announced they should take the Ridge Trail, which looked sturdy and sensible on her handmade forest sketch. Milo, however, insisted his ancestors' map showed a shortcut, a winding route beside a brook glittering with frost. "We will save hours," Milo said confidently, already heading downhill. Hazel frowned. "It looks slippery, Milo. I think we should stay on the main path." "But imagine the stories we would miss if we would do everything the safe way," he said with a wink. Hazel sighed, but followed him anyway. The shortcut was beautiful at first. Colorful stones, birdsong echoing between tall trunks. But before long they found themselves jumping over damp roots, ducking under fallen trees and sliding down muddy slopes. Hazel tried not to scold, even as her tail collected leaves and Milo's map got splashed by the brook. Milo tried not to grumble, even when Hazel pointed out very gently that the shortcut seemed to be twice as long. At last they reached the main trail again, tired and muddy but laughing breathlessly. "You were right," Milo panted. "Your way was smarter." Hazel grinned. "Your way was certainly more interesting." By the time they set up camp that evening, they were no longer just travel companions. They were real friends, learning how to blend Hazel's thoughtful planning with Milo's fearless curiosity. Theo's welcome. After a delightful but exhausting journey through the lush forest, Hazel and Milo arrived at the coast. A large sign read Aurora's Watch. "That must be the place," Milo said excitedly. And there it was, like something out of a dream. A glowing lighthouse. Theo met Milo and Hazel at the entrance, his soft glow warm against the cool and salty sea breeze. "You arrived at just the right time," he said with a smile. "I have just finished some long overdue renovations inside. New beams in the reading room, fresh paint in the kitchen, and even a few hidden corners I think you will like." Hazel's eyes sparkled. "Hidden corners?" she asked, her tail twitching. Theo chuckled. "You will see. This place is full of surprises." He led them inside, showing the cozy nooks, the polished floors, and a set of shelves that looked perfectly ordinary until you pressed a carved seashell. Then, with a quiet click, a tiny door swung open to reveal a comfortable little reading space. "I can see you both have a love for adventure," Theo continued. "If you would like, the lighthouse is always open to new tenants who want to stay for a while. There is plenty of room and even more stories waiting to be found." Milo grinned at Hazel. "Well, I think we have just found the best detour we have ever taken." Every story has something to teach us. What did we learn today? We have learned that sometimes the best adventures are the ones we never planned. They lead us to places and new friends we didn't know we needed. Thank you for stopping by here today. If you enjoyed this episode, give it a like and don't forget to come back next week for a brand new adventurous story. Want to learn more about the magical tenants who live here? Visit enchantedlighthouse.com for a mystical map, creative artwork and a few special gifts. Until then, be kind and share your light. See you next time.